Welcome to Pause the Page. My name is Katie.
My name is Stephanie.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we will be discussing Coraline by Neil Gaiman. But before we jump into the episode, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Has anybody heard of any book news or book updates that are coming out here soon?
Yes, I have. I saw the trailer for The Color Purple.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, cool.
I'm very excited. It looks so good. Can we add that to our list? Because I'm very excited to watch it, and I really want to read the book.
Yes.
Yeah, of course we can.
So I thought that was pretty neat that the trailer finally came out. It has some great actors in it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very excited.
And this is a second version of this movie.
Is it?
You may not know that. Yeah, this is a new version of The Color Purple. There is an older film.
From when?
The 90s?
Oh, okay. You don't have to look up the actual date. It's okay.
1985. Never mind. A while ago. I knew there was an old one. And then I know in the book world, a lot of people may be excited that Iron Flame is dropping in November, which is the second book to the fourth.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I've pre-ordered. I'm hoping my book comes on time.
Did they end up changing from just the plain black edges?
No.
It's still black edges? Okay, I'm not going to pre-order.
But they are dropping a special edition of Fourth Wing with just black edges and like this really pretty red gold cover so that your sides can match if that bothers you.
Ah.
I don't care that much.
No, because if I have a pretty edge, I'll face it edge out. And then if I don't, I'll just put it with the spine out.
I got you. All mine are spine out because
But if it was like special edging, I would probably pre-order. You know, like that's the whole Red Tower thing. Like their first editions, they're trying to give that like book box feel for just whatever. So I pre-ordered. Also, Amazon does not charge you until the date of the release.
Oh,
for your pre-orders. Really? Yeah. So we will see if that's a good thing or a bad thing in a couple months.
That to me just sounds like girl math, and I'm
thank you. All right,
I am jumping on. I did not know that.
I didn't either. I usually pre-order mine through Barnes and Noble, so
I do too.
Good to know for the future, though. But yeah, the author has come out on TikTok and said that the reason for the black edges, though, is because if they did special edges, it would have taken longer to publish, and she wanted to make sure this book was dropped. So that's
I appreciate
why
that.
It's only black edges.
See, and I would wait, but down the road, I'm sure special editions will come out anyways.
Well, it makes me wonder how many books she's planning on dropping next year.
It's supposed to be a 6-month rush, isn't it?
It's supposed to be fast. I know that.
So hopefully they edit. I heard somewhere that the CEO of Red Tower is the one who is editing the books. And I don't know anything about her in particular, but I just hope that enough commitment can go into editing them.
I agree. Guess we'll find out, huh?
Yep, we'll see.
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to Coraline. This book is an adventure of finding happiness in your own life and not in a make-believe world. The movie is rated PG, and our personal book age recommendation is about middle grade or middle school and up. It is a spooky story for kids, and it's also very loved by adults. But there are some images that may be disturbing to children, so just keep that in mind when you're reading or watching the movie with your kiddos.
There's also a very beautiful and sweet book dedication from the author. And it says, I started this for Holly, finished it for Maddie. And Holly and Maddie are his two kids. And so I just thought it was a very sweet little dedication. He started the book for one daughter and finished it for the other.
Yeah, that's super cool. Also, I just want to say real quick that me and Neil Gaiman have the same birthday, so that's also pretty cool.
Okay, the story of Coraline. Coraline is a story about a young girl and her family that moved to an apartment that is just a little bit odd. It's the summer before school begins, and Coraline, being bored and not having anyone to play with, begins to explore, and that's where her adventure begins. Coraline discovers a little door in the wall of one of the rooms that supposedly used to connect her family's apartment to the one next door. However, that night, Coraline realized that the door leads to another world, one that isn't as boring as the one she currently resides in. Unfortunately, this world has been created and manipulated by a creature named the Beldam, who is known to Coraline as the Other Mother, and who is much more interested in keeping Coraline with her forever than giving her a place to escape to. The Beldam tries to keep Coraline in her world by suggesting to sew buttons into Coraline's eyes. Coraline refuses. She starts to see that this world is not as great as it seems. When Coraline leaves, the Beldam takes Coraline's real parents as hostages to get her to come back. When she does, Coraline suggests a game of finding the lost souls of the three ghost children to save her parents and everyone's freedom. If Coraline loses, she will allow the Beldam to sew the button eyes. Coraline begins the game, and after several scary obstacles, she wins and finds the lost souls. The Beldam is not happy and tries to force her to stay. Then begins a race to freedom as Coraline battles the Beldam and tries to run back through the door into her real life. She succeeds and her parents are saved. However, the Beldam tries one more trick, but Coraline was able to outsmart her.
Sweet.
So I guess we can start off with characters. Let's talk about the characters real quick, because they're all great.
Well, my favorite is the cat. He's the best. He's the best snarky little companion ever. And he's also in the movie, his voice actor is Keith David, who was the bad guy in The Princess and the Frog.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's done a ton. Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. He's like known for that deep voice.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what he's done because I didn't know that.
Yeah, his voice for me was so, because I've seen, what I think is interesting for our audience to know is all three of us have seen the movie multiple times, and this is the first time all of us read the book.
Mm-hmm.
When I was reading the book, I could only hear Keith's voice in my head when I was reading the cat.
Yeah.
It was like permanently there. That was the sound. That's how the cat sounds.
Oh, because it's so fitting. It's
Yeah.
just right.
They did a fantastic casting decision with that.
They did because Coraline is voiced by Dakota Fanning.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dakota Fanning. All of her work is so good.
So Dakota Fanning she met the director when she was 9. And then, because it was originally going to be a live action film. And then when she hit 11, she met with him again to see if she just wanted to do the voice acting.
I'm kind of glad they didn't make it a live action.
No, me too. Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
It fit much better. There was a lot of stuff that I felt like, because it's childlike, it's just easier to do not live action, especially for when this movie was produced, which was 2009, in case anybody didn't know, which made me feel very old when I saw that. But at the time, like, 2009 movies, even compared to nowadays, there's such a significant difference in a lot of CGI stuff. I don't think it would have held up the same way as Coraline does currently with the stop motion.
Yeah, I agree. I also really loved the addition of YB in the movie.
Yes.
He let him take, because in the book it's just Coraline and the cat, right? So she has all that internal dialogue in the book, and then having YB not only lets her have like a friend, which I thought made it more interesting too, but then you can hear all of her internal dialogue as she's talking to YB.
Yeah, I would not have like put that together had you not said that. Of like that, maybe that's why they added this character into it. I am so happy they did. I like him too. I like how odd he is. He fits right in.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder though why. Like, I guess this goes back to a theory of the house itself, because YB's grandmother never let YB go into the Pink Palace and was very adamant about it. And YB's the only kid outside of Coraline that we see. And in the book, there are no kids. It's Coraline.
Yeah,
it's kids, because the only kids that are ever mentioned have all passed away from the beldam. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's weird that he's like, so she won't let him into the house, but in the movie, they show the beldam preparing for Coraline's arrival. Like, she's not even there yet, and she already knows. So, like, what is protecting YB? You know?
I don't know.
Because it's not just going into the palace.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
Because the whole title sequence is the beldam undoing one of the old dolls and changing it into Coraline and setting it back out. But YB's... It makes me wonder if part of it is the beldam can only manipulate what she's already done, because there's a part in the movie where Grandma goes, "That's my sister's doll." YB has to go get it back because that was Grandma's sister's doll. So it makes me wonder if that's what the only reason she could manipulate it was because she had manipulated it before.
But then it also brings up, why not YB? He's a kid as well.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the magic connection in his house. The door's not in his house. It's only in the Pink Palace.
Oh, right. Like, she's not going to be bothered with it because she can't. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm on board. Okay.
So I think that's why Coraline's doll ends up in YB's house, is because that is technically the only place that the beldam can reach out that's not the Pink Palace, because that's something she owned before.
Wow.
So also,
when I analyze,
see, listen, I thought, I was on a roll here. I was like, I've got some smarts analyzing.
I'm sorry.
This is why, if we were in high school, I'd be looking over your shoulder.
Y'all, I'll be real. I don't think y'all would want to be friends with me if I was in high school, if we were all in high school together. I'm so glad we found each other later in life.
We also bring different aspects into this podcast. So, like, Katie, you do analyze a lot of what we read and what we watch.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Because no, don't be sorry. Like, I'm grateful for that, because some of these things go over my head.
Right? Yeah. Same.
I'm more interested in I'm more interested in the story itself. I don't analyze things so deeply like this sometimes. So everything that you just explained about YB, never would have thought of that ever.
Right, just kind of like the big picture.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, in the movie, I thought the parents were so rude. Like, they were so mean to their kid. Like, even every time I watch the movie, I'm just like, I hope I'm not like that. Because there are times I'm like, listen, just go outside, please. I am begging you.
But I think this is important, because one thing I noticed, and I don't know why this choice happened, it could be just because of the director. The book is set in England. And, it took me a minute to even realize that it was set in England. I was like, why are they using funny words? That's because it's not American. And then I was good. But the movie is set in America. Coraline is from Michigan, which gets brought up. That's how you know for sure it's in America. And I fully believe this goes to media representation. I think that one of the reasons Coraline's parents are, seen that way is because most kids see their parents that way, and it's portrayed that way in American TV.
That's fair. Like, it's through
The parents
her
aren't really
lens.
connected. Yeah. But in the book, I felt like I agree with you. In the book, I felt like the parents weren't so, like, they clearly needed her to go work, like, do something else while working, but they weren't mean about it. They were, like, trying to give her ideas and, like, encouraging her to explore.
Yes. In the book, when the dad...
thing.
Yeah, like, in the book, when the dad is like, go count all the doorknobs and go do this and this, I didn't picture him saying it to her harshly at all, you know? And then in the movie, he's it's just very like, get out of my face, will you go do this stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I remember also thinking, like, by the end of the movie, I'm like, why was she so excited to kind of go back and stuff? Because her parents were rude. Isn't
better to have rude parents than to have button eyes?
Fair point. Solid point. Well, and I felt like in the book that part was done better, you know what I mean? Because the parents weren't rude, and it came to more of she appreciated the weird things they did.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole point where she was like, of course Dad put pineapple on pizza, which, first of all, I like pineapple on pizza. I will
Me
fight
too.
people.
Me too. Okay, yay.
We're all in agreement. This is good.
Great.
We
We
may
can
have
be
to fight our
friends.
listeners.
We can be friends now.
Okay, we're good. But I felt like, but it was very kid-like in the book, you know what I mean? Like, she was just like, why would he do that? That's such a weird thing to do.
Oh,
Like, that's cute.
The condescension of calling her dad's meals recipes. She's
Cracked
like,
me up.
he makes recipes.
That I loved that, because that truly came from the perspective of a child. Because
Yeah.
there's another part where she's like, I don't know, he put tarragon on it, and I'm like, the fact that you know what that is and you think it's disgusting, and I'm like, that came from a kid. Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna go microwave food. Okay,
Yes, yeah.
I'm over here because I can definitely understand how, like, as an adult, I'm over here putting spices and putting like all this extra stuff to make things taste good. And for my 8-year-old little niece, she will not agree.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That's gross. Why are you putting that? And I'm like, it's to make it taste good. No, it's not.
Yes.
So I loved that, because as I was reading the book, I fully understood that this is coming from the perspective of a kid. And
A smart kid.
a smart
Yeah,
kid.
she's smart. She's very observant.
Yes.
Coraline in the book is very British. Like, she is very polite, and then in the movie she's very American. She's feisty, and she's like, why were you born? You know,
Girl,
like,
no,
dang.
oh my dang. You just met this kid.
Yeah.
You're so mean.
Okay, but that was good.
No, it was a fantastic comeback. I just felt bad for Wybie.
Yeah. Okay, so were there some plots that were added or deleted from the book to the movie?
Oh, can we talk about the door itself?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the door is such a big part of this entire story. It's the door that leads to the other world, right?
Mhm.
So in the movie, it is this small little square-shaped door at the bottom of the wall. It's the size for like a kid, and it's patched up. They have to kind of open up the wall to even get to the keyhole to open the door, and this whole thing, right? In the book, I was disappointed that the door was a normal, regular-sized looking door on the wall. She just opens the door. Well, it's locked, obviously, but
Right, yeah. It's not as mysterious.
it's not as mysterious. It's not as magical, or as like even enticing to
Yeah.
want to open the door.
Mhm.
The whole point of Coraline wanting to open that door is because it was so unusual.
I thought she just wanted to open it because she was bored.
Well, that too.
But like, if you're a kid and you see a tiny door that's like you have to crawl through, oh my gosh, be all over that.
Yeah, but I feel like in the book, Neil Gaiman did set up for her to be like, she's exploring, she's bored. Where does this door go? Like, it's not a second thought to her. It's, oh, this is something else that I want to see, because all the other doors I could open and I can't open this one.
Right. Well, like, yeah, any door
I'm
that's
sure it's
locked, you're
both.
thinking about it. But like, it's just funner to have small,
Oh
tiny
no, I
things
think
are funner.
yeah,
Yes.
it is. I would agree with that.
So I am actually a little bit sad that in the book it's just this regular door, but I'm super glad that they changed that for the movie because the movie put up a great visual of like this is the door that's going to lead to the other world.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked it.
And it's so symbolic too because in the movie, like I said earlier, it's the size for children, and the only people that actually get to the other world are children.
That's true.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. It's not like
Because
this
mom and
big
dad were kind
door.
of transported
Mm-hmm.
completely
Yeah.
to the other world, and they had to be small. Like they were put in a snow globe. They had to be small to get to the other world.
Yes. Also, the tunnel itself was different in the book and the movie. So in the movie, because it's such a small door, the tunnel is kind of like what you actually picture a tunnel to be, like this round thing where she has to crawl through. Whereas in the book, it is like a corridor.
It's a
It's
hallway.
just this it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
hallway.
The hallway. Yeah.
It's a hallway. So I'm like, that's boring. That
Can I
that's
tell you?
not fun.
So in the movie, the way the tunnel looked to me reminded me of the hose for a dryer vent.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Yes, I agree with that so much. Just a really colorful one.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I want to go look up if that's how they actually made it.
Oh, right,
Maybe
yeah.
one of those. But I there's something whimsical that does add to it. Is this purpley blue thing that stretches out
Mhm.
between her and this other door.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
just
so
looks
magical.
like, yeah, super inviting, like you want to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's the what's the word, the lore
yeah, the lore.
the lure
The lore?
lore
The
it's
lore.
the lore of the children that the beldam places. It's like the Hocus Pocus song. Come listen.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You're
also,
gonna want to go through that tunnel.
yeah, for sure. So when she gets there, and they added the dad playing the piano in the movie, and the little hand gloves that he wears.
Yes.
They were like it reminded me like a babysitter for him, like while the other mother was away or recharging or whatever she was doing. Didn't it say something like she had to like recharge her powers, kind of?
Yeah,
To
there
make
was
it.
something in the movie they mention it that she has to like re kind of boost her energy.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
bending the world.
I think in the book it was Coraline that just imagined that's what she was doing. It's never confirmed,
That's
but
true.
Right.
I think as a kid, the lady is gone. You're just assuming that she's, in Ashley's words, recharging.
Yeah.
Well, and the hands come into play later too, because like when everything starts getting darker, and the dad turns around and he talks about that, like we can't say anything while mother's not here, and the hands like
Oh
grab
yeah,
him
they
and,
just
like,
cover his
like,
mouth. Yeah.
they're like flipping him around and like shut up. One thing I found interesting that they added in the movie, I guess this is kind of later, but I think it's part of the plot too, is the garden, because the garden's not really mentioned in the book. In the book, she's just an explorer, but in the movie, there's this whole aspect of her parents being gardeners and writing a book for gardening, and in the movie, also, there's this huge thing because Coraline also is involved in gardening, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. I wonder why we added that in.
And this whole scene of the garden itself that lit up.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. It made it very atmospheric,
Yes.
which can't be achieved, like it can in the book, through
Right.
description. So, yeah, I don't know. So I thought it was okay. This is my theory, my attempt, Katie, at analyzing things. So it was like, okay, so the dad, the hands, right, were on the other mother's side. Like they were they were hers. then you see later on, like, the plants and the flowers are completely on the other mother's side. But then it seemed like it was, I don't know, it was interesting because other characters, like the father and Wybie, were sided with Coraline. And, like, how does free will come into place from sentient things as opposed to the other characters? You know, so, like, Bobinski and Mrs. Fink and the other one. Yeah, we're on the other mother's side. So it just kind of seemed like the closer they were to Coraline, the more chance they had on, like, helping her.
That's true, because I felt like even in the movie, Coraline and her father had a different relationship than Coraline and her mother.
Yeah, agreed, yeah. Little girls are always closer with their dads.
But it does bring up a good point about the free will, because, like, the whole moment when Wilby's little outfit is on the flagpole always makes me so sad.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Every time I'm just like, no, buddy. It's not even the real one. I don't care. I think also one thing that this was more of the same, except for a name change, which I found interesting. We kept Spink, we kept Forcible, but we couldn't keep Mr. Bobo. We had to give him Bobo. I was like, why? That's the most random change.
So they could have at least implied, like, oh, like, he goes
call
by
me
Bobo.
Mr. Bobo.
Call me
But they
Mr.
don't.
Bobo.
They call
My name
call
is
me Mr. B.
Bobinski.
Okay, well, I have a question, and this might be silly. Is that gonna be in the movie or in the book? There was no reference to this, but Babinski, is that like Russian? Because they have, so he's blue. He's a blue puppet, right? Have y'all seen that? So he has the Chernobyl cleanup medal.
Yep.
Which is why his skin is blue. Mm-hmm. Right? And then in the book, I don't know why they made it like that.
In the book, they make a reference. It's like right at the end where one of the, I call them sisters. I don't know what they are. Spink and Forcible.
I thought they were
actresses.
Lesbians. Oh, okay.
I did too.
Okay, yeah.
It's not just me. Okay.
No.
I was like, it's very convenient. Y'all lived together your whole lives. I have questions, but okay.
Yeah.
But also time period, I think, is important play in that kind of stuff. But anyway, at one point, it's at the very end of the book, they mention Mr. Bobo upstairs, and they're like, yeah, the old Russian guy, Mr. Bobo. And Coraline's like, he has a name, and I was like, that's the most... And, but there is mention, but I don't think it's confirmed as Russian. I think, like, everybody just knows he's not from that area, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe the one of the two actresses were like kind of gave a list of like Russian or barbarian or whatever.
Yeah.
No one knows, but it is definitely highly implied that he is from somewhere else, and it's one of those accents.
And I think for the movie they just picked one and
yes,
ran with it.
Also the ending. Let's talk about the ending of both the book and the movie, because it's a little bit different, but it makes a difference. In the movie, Coraline has the key, and the hand of the beldam has now reached into the real world and is out to get the key. And what Coraline does is Coraline wraps it around a rock, and actually she kills the hand. This whole story is really dark. There's aspects to it that I'm like, I can totally see how this is dark for children. She like kills the hand, wraps it up along with the key, and throws it down a really deep well. Well, in the book, what happens is Coraline knows, or she knows something is after her. She knows something's after the key, and she sets up a trap on top of the well. She opens it up, puts a blanket on top, pretends that she is having tea with her dolls, because the blanket's on top, there's no weight onto it, so you would never know that there's a hole right under the blanket. And she kind of dangles the key on top of that area, and the hand goes over, grabs it and like falls into the hole, and like the key, the hand, and I believe the blanket also just fall inside. Am I correct on this?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, in both stories, both the hand and the key go down the well. But I thought I loved how, like, because Coraline is so clever and so smart, she outsmarts the beldam again by tricking the hand to falling into the deep, deep well.
Well,
Never to like come back out, never to be seen again.
right. And I like how both the movie and the book set up for the hand to come through different ways, and it still worked. So for the movie, she shuts the door and the hand pops off. We see it, right? We see the hand in the tunnel when she closes the door. In the book, the beldam swears by her right hand. That's the whole thing. And she swears by her right hand, and then she lied, and so the hand is following Coraline back, and the ghost children in both things are the ones who are like, hey, by the way, she's over here. Like, you still gotta stop her. But I like how we set that up both ways.
Yes, specify a little bit the swearing by the right hand, because that was for the game, right?
Yes, so in the game, she originally, the beldam says she's going to swear by her mother, and Coraline says, I don't trust that, swear by something else, and beldam goes, okay, then I swear by my right hand.
Well, hold on, mention that the fact that she's swearing by her right hand that if Coraline wins, she will be set free.
Yes.
Like, that was the whole promise there. That was the whole, like, point of the swearing. So, yes, she does swear by her right hand that if Coraline wins the game, she will be set free, the parents would be set free, and the ghost children would be set free.
Right.
Sorry, I just wanted to, like, specify, because I'm like, if you're listening in and do not understand what they're swearing by or like, what for.
That's fair.
I wanted to make sure, like, it was understood. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're okay. One thing I did find interesting, again, it's a very slight change, and I'm curious, I think it is more fitting, like, it still works, it's not a bad change, it's just a slight change that was different. In the book, Coraline looks for the kids' souls that are all marbles, and they're hard to find. In the movie, she looks for the kids' eyes. One eye from each child.
Oh.
And like obviously their soul is in said eye thing. But I just found that very interesting because I felt like the eye thing made sense because all the kids gave up their eyes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, just a slight change, not a bad change, but I found it interesting.
It's also said, you know, the eyes are the windows to the soul.
That's true.
Ooh.
Maybe that's why she wants the buttons. Is
Yeah.
that why she wants the buttons?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, did we just figure something out? We're all so smart. I didn't even think about that.
Me either until I said it. Like, it clicked.
But then that makes you wonder about, going back to the father and Wilby, the free will thing.
Oh, and
buttons on their eyes.
I'm so sorry, too. You keep saying Wilby, and it's YB.
It's YB.
I'm sorry. This is what happens. But YB, I'm sorry. YB, it goes back to YB and the other father, though. The other YB and the other father. It makes me wonder, going back to your idea, Ashley, of free will, if that's one of the reasons, because they have buttons on their eyes, do they actually still have a soul then?
Well, they're not... I don't know that they ever have a soul, per se. I don't know. Because I don't think anything she makes has a soul.
Also because the ghost children were real children.
Right.
Whereas the other father and the other YB, they're just, like, copies.
Yeah, like YB's made out of sawdust.
No, yes. And I know that. But going back to your original thought of why they seem to be on Coraline's side and not really the other mothers, is there something else going on? Because they are also the only things... Well, no, because the other ones have buttons, too.
No, like, yeah, the only thing I could think of is kind of like the special relationship that they have, because...
Yeah, I think...
I think that YB likes Coraline.
Oh, agreed.
Right?
100%.
I think he's like immediately taken with her. And then the dad, they just have a special relationship. Obviously, the mom is the other mother, so that's not going to
Right.
translate.
Actually, there still might be some truth to this because YB likes Coraline. The father loves Coraline. The mother, it is also specified in the book that Coraline does truly believe the other mother loves Coraline, just not like a daughter, more like a possession.
That's right. Yes.
True.
She's like a doll, like a plaything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do think there is some truth to what you're saying, Ashley, of like what makes them different is the relationship. They all love Coraline.
Yeah.
Whereas the actresses and Mr. Bobinski or Mr. Bobo, they don't love Coraline. To them, it's just, another kid.
Some other kid,
Keep
yeah.
calling her Caroline.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's had her name messed up, I understand the frustration. She's like, through most of the book, she's like, it's Coraline. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
So maybe that is why.
I think that is. I think Ashley was right on that. I was just trying to make a connection to the buttons, and I think I was looking too deep.
Was there any major things that were in the book that we wish would have been in the movie?
Yes. Okay. There's this scene that I really want to talk about from the book. I wish they would have kept this in the movie because the scene is actually spooky. Like, this is, I think out of the whole book, this is the scene for me that was like, if I was a kid reading this would have been the scene that got me like, oh my God, this is scary. There's this whole scene in the book about a trap door on the floor. So Coraline's searching for the lost souls, for the marbles, and what's inside is what's inside is essentially a body of the other father. And there's this, if I remember correctly from what I read, the body like lifts up, like sits up in a very spooky way that I know would have scared me if I was little reading this. And it's the other father who is being controlled by the other mother, by the beldam. And I think the scene shows how much the other father, as Ashley's been talking a lot about, like the other father wants to save Coraline. He tells her, run, get out. Why are you here? But because he is being controlled by the beldam, he is also trying to hurt Coraline and keep her trapped there forever because the beldam does not play fair in her games. So this was one way to entrap Coraline, but Coraline fights back and outsmarts the other father and is able to get out of the room in time. And I wish we would have seen this. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it got replaced by the hands.
No, I think it got replaced by the garden scene because the other father controlled on the giant grasshopper tractor thingy. And he does the same thing. He keeps apologizing to her, and he rips off the first eyeball to give to her because he goes over the bridge and he starts going down, and he still tries to help her. I feel like that's what got replaced by it.
Yes, it did. And I loved this scene in the book. I just thought it was so much more like spooky and scary.
It's definitely more spooky.
Yeah, I'm like, imagine if we had the visuals for this in the movie, because one thing that the movie did amazing on are the visuals. You see all of these spooky, scary things, like the beldam herself.
I think part of it too, because I remember reading that scene and thinking, oh, they're made of clay. Because it talks about the dad's body melting into the worm-looking creature. It was like a worm by the time he was done. He went from human to like more of a creature shape. And I wonder if one of the reasons they had to change it is because in the movie it's sawdust.
Yeah.
And like the doll aspect of it. So I wonder if that's why they changed it, unfortunately. But I agree with you. It was a real, like, when she was going down there, I was like, no. No, thank you. I'm a grown adult and I'm still scared. No, thank you.
Also, another scene that was in the book, not in the movie, was the whole story about the wasp
Yes.
with the dad. Okay, so in the book, this is the part where Coraline knows her parents have been taken by the Beldam. She knows she has to go save them, and she's doing it because it's the right thing to do. But
Mhm.
she's telling the cat a story about a time that her father, her real father, um, they were gonna go somewhere. They were gonna go do something. I don't remember. Maybe
They're
go to the
exploring
park.
the alley behind their old
Okay,
place.
okay, yeah. I didn't remember exactly what the reasoning was for them going out there, but there's this. She's telling the story to the cat about this time that all of a sudden they're going up a hill, and all of a sudden the dad turns around and yells at Coraline to run back, like go back. And Coraline listens. She feels a sting in her arm, doesn't know what it is until she makes it back down the hill. She looks up, and her father is getting stung and attacked by a swarm of wasps. And her dad told her, go back to get her away from the nest of the wasps. And, Coraline talks about the fact that she was stung just one time in her arm. Her father was stung 39 times all over his whole body. And during the moment that her dad runs away from the wasp and, tries to save himself, he loses his glasses. They fall off. And after it's talked about that same night, like later that day, her father has to go back and get his glasses before he forgets where they fell. And this stands out to Coraline a lot because her dad had told her that it was not scary to stand there and let the wasp sting him because he knew it was to keep them away from Coraline, his daughter. What was scary was him going back and facing the area, knowing that there's a nest of wasps right there, and that's where he was attacked. And it was all to get his glasses back. He said facing that what was scary. And Coraline uses this whole story to really encourage herself to have the same type of bravery that her dad had to save her. And now she's the one saving her dad, both her parents.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, I really
line.
like that.
That's one of my favorite quotes from the book is when she's talking to the cat after that, because the cat asks what the point is. The cat's not getting the story,
Yes.
and he's like, "So why did he go back?" And Coraline says because she said, "When you're scared but you still do it anyway, that's brave." And it's one of my favorite lines from the book that I really wish was
Yeah,
in the movie.
yeah.
Yeah. And I like how even the cat acknowledges how smart Coraline is because the
Mhm.
cat says, "Oh, this is why you are saving your parents because your dad saved you." She's like, "No, I'm saving them because it's the right thing to do."
And to be
And
fair, I
so,
don't blame the cat. The cat's over there like, why are we risking our lives
Yeah.
here? We already got out.
such a cat mindset.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I myself am good, so.
But I loved the scene so much, and it was a sweet little scene from Coraline in the book, and I really wish they would have kept that in the movie. But it's also a small little treasure. Like if you're gonna read the book, this is what you're gonna get, and it's so sweet. Um,
Yeah. As
I
a as a
yeah,
parent, I feel like that's such a great representation. Like I feel that to my core, like uh you just do what you have to do to like take care of your kid. There's no yeah, it's not scary, right? You just do what you have to do.
right. But it also highlights the fact that adults get scared too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think unfortunately we lose it because of kind of what we talked about earlier, the Americanized version of parents and children. And again, like obviously the three of us know plenty of families this is not the situation, but I feel like in media it is portrayed that the parents are never feeling, but in the book we get to see them feeling. We get to see Coraline learn her feelings because of her parents, which is how it should be. But in the
Mhm.
movie they're so detached.
Yeah, that
It
theme
wouldn't
was
have
not
made
prevalent
sense.
in the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. it was more of like appreciate what you have, kind of was the main theme in the movie. Even if your parents are rude and suck, you should be appreciative.
Yeah, because I remember even thinking, and I don't remember if I said this earlier or not, but I remember thinking like towards the end of the movie, I'm like, why? Her parents were rude. Like, why is she so
Her parents got
excited
nicer
to?
at the end.
Yeah, they did.
Once the stress of their job was gone, when the dad's book got approved, the parents were nicer.
Yeah, I think that was mainly also through Coraline's lens. Yeah. So maybe they weren't actually that mean, but, you know, she saw it like that.
They clearly were stressed, though, because at one point at the very beginning of the movie, the dad's, like, joking around with Coraline, and the mom looks at him and is like, if you want your pages edited, you're gonna go work.
Yeah.
like, there was clearly a stress that was there.
Also, there's this, do y'all remember the scene where Coraline is, like, in the mirror, like, in the room?
Yeah.
In the book, is it also, like, in the mirror, or is it behind the mirror? Okay, no.
It's in, because the beldam unlocks the mirror and throws her in.
Oh my God, you're so right. I remember now, because I remember thinking, it reminded me of the scene from, have y'all seen that show, is it on Netflix? Where it's called Lock and Key?
Yes!
Oh, so good. And it's very early, too, where, like, they put the key in the mirror and unlock the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I envisioned. So,
but in the movie, they just chunk her in.
Anyways, correct me if I am wrong. This is a part where, like, I kind of hope I'm wrong. Because it's dark, and if you're sensitive to, like, you know, children, I don't know how to even prep what I'm about to say, but in the scene where Coraline is in the mirror, in the book, was it implied, like, dead bodies? Because I could have sworn she says she touched something cold.
Now I want to go look.
I don't know.
I don't.
Because this...
Well, like, you know how ghosts... So, like, a ghost is typically described as being cold. Yeah.
Okay, so is it implied that she could touch the ghost?
I thought she was touching the ghost. I didn't take it as a body, but
yeah, I don't think it's a body. I think it's a ghost.
Okay, like I said, I would be glad to be wrong about this. But
Yeah. You can feel, like, typically a lot of times it's like you can feel them when they pass through you. You get this rush sensation of cold.
Right, but see, like that example, that's a rush sensation. She touched something physical.
Yes,
that was cold.
And then her hand touched something that felt for all the world to be somebody's cheek and lips, small and cold, and a voice whispered in her ear, hush and shush, say nothing for the beldam may be listening. I can see how you think that'd be a
Yeah.
I'm translating it in my brain into a ghost because that's what my brain can handle.
Yeah, as a middle grade book, it's a ghost.
I refuse to think that Neil Gaiman would do that in a child's book.
Okay. Goes to show how dark my mind can go. I'm sorry.
Honestly, no, but rereading that, I see exactly where you're pulling that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think also just having the movie of knowing they're ghosts, my brain just went, oh, it's the children ghost, and like did not dive farther than that.
I remember when I read that, like she touched the lips and cheek, I was like, is that a body? Oh my God, is it?
And then I would die. I would not have made it to the game.
That's why I'm like losing my words just prepping that question, because I'm like, am I like, did I read this correctly?
No, again, I totally see that, and I think if I had never seen the movie, I may think that way, but because I had seen the movie, I already knew, like I already had an image in my head.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think that made the difference for me.
And you know what? For the purposes of all of our sanities, we're going to keep it that way.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just a ghost.
It's a ghost.
She could touch the ghost.
That's why I'm like, man, this is dark. Like, this book has little touches of, like, it is dark.
It's also Neil Gaiman. I mean, if you've read any of his other stuff,
what are some of his other stuff?
American Gods, Good Omens.
Good Omens, Stardust.
Yeah.
Stardust is like nicer.
Yeah,
It's
the
not
Graveyard
dark.
Book. Most of his stuff has, like, he doesn't pull punches, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, like, I don't know. It fits if you've read all of his other stuff before. He's one of my favorite authors, so, like, this is ironically, I hadn't read Coraline, but I've read quite a few of his other books.
Yeah,
I
we gotta
never
add
know.
Stardust to the list, by
We
the way.
do need
if
to
it's
add
not.
Stardust.
And Good Omen.
Yeah.
Good Omens?
Yes.
It's a series,
Good
but yeah.
Omens. Well,
Oh, it's a series.
the book only follows season 1. We're gonna have to cut that part out. The book only follows season 1. Season 2 and season 3 that are coming while Neil Gaiman is working with them do not actually go with the book. It's an
Oh,
actual
interesting. Okay, all right.
journey.
Cool.
So,
Well, and I have a question. Did he write Good Omens with Terry Pratchett?
yes.
Or are they working on the show together?
No, they wrote it together.
They wrote it together. Okay,
They wrote it together.
sweet.
I just love how everything is so spooky.
He did a fantastic job with it.
He's so atmospheric.
Yes. I would agree.
That's a
with that.
great way of putting it. You know what was also very spooky? The rats.
Ugh!
Yeah,
The book rats were worse than the movie rats.
agreed.
So another difference here, and I think it's implied in the movie, just not highly touched upon, is the rats in the book are the Beldam spies. And
Yeah.
in the movie, it's mostly the doll.
Well, it is outside of the world.
Yeah,
Which
when
is
you
something
get
I
to
wanna
the
get
other
into that
world.
later. Yeah, I want to get into that later with when we talk about what we thought the movie did better. But in the world, like in the Beldam's world, in both the movie and the book, it is the rats.
Ashley, you did this. You read, like you listened to the book, right? Through audio, like audio.
Yeah.
How were the rats during the little poems or the little?
Oh, they're so creepy, man. Should we add? Did it translate well earlier? Should I?
It did.
Do you want to
Yes.
give
Pull
me?
it back up. Pull it
Give
back
me
up.
just a second here.
So for anybody who's watched the movie but not read the book, just FYI, there's a point where the rats that we know are controlled by the other mother have a poem, a very creepy poem that they constantly recite, like just out of eyeshot of everything, that are just a reminder, basically, that they're gonna be there long after everybody else. It's just unnerving. It's so unnerving. I
Yes.
read it and I was like, no, oh.
Oh my God, I could hear it in my head so clearly, like the eerie, spooky voices of tiny little mice.
And then Coraline was like, let me go find out. I would have been like, nope, we're moving. Where are my parents? Time to go out of this apartment.
Yeah. Be laying down some rat traps here.
The rats are talking. Something is wrong.
All right. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay, I think I have it at the right spot.
We have eyes and we have nerves, we have tails, we have teeth. You'll all get what you deserve when we rise from underneath.
Unnerving. It reminds me of Gollum. That's
Oh yeah. Ew, little golem mice. No, thank you.
What is Gollum?
from
Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
My
I'm sorry.
precious.
Oh my God, the rats were their own characters. I loved it.
I like that in the movie they were little jumpy mice. Like they came
Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie they definitely made it a little bit more kid friendly and
until
Now they're
they were
dancing.
revealed. though.
Well, I started saying it made it more like insidious because it
Yeah.
took something cute and then it made it into this yucky little rat.
true.
So in the book, I really liked that we got a little bit more lore into what the Beldam is, because before I read the book, I never really understood that. Like, I just wrote that saying off when the little ghost girl says it, or the ghost boy, whoever said it. It's only mentioned like one time. But it talks about how, and like into the world. So the cat says, or Coraline asks, did she make the world? And the cat is like, make it, find it, what's the difference? So like the Beldam is like this little boogeyman god that has found their way into this world, but they didn't necessarily make this world. They just manipulate it.
Yes, and also fun fact, the beldam, kind of like what you said, is like a boogeyman. So the beldam is actually based off of a real poem. It is called La Belle Dame Sans Merci, a ballad by John Keats. I do not speak French. I have no idea if I said that correctly.
That's so much better than the way I could have done it. So.
Oh, yeah. Real Texan if I had tried.
Yeah.
So it's a real poem. A little bit long, not anything I can like read right now, but it is also a spooky poem, kind of like what you said. It's the boogeyman. It's another version of La Llorona in Spanish, or the boogeyman in English, el cucuy, anything you want to call it. So
yeah, it's such a fun
know.
thing. Yeah,
that's why they know who it is. That's why they're like, it's the beldam.
It's also, so in the book too, it mentions the beldam. She mentions that her mother is dead, and then the mother tried to crawl out and she buried her again. Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on, did I miss that? Say it again.
So it's where she's swearing on her right hand?
Yeah, because she swears by her mother's grave, and Coraline calls her out on it, and she admits it. She's just like, oh, yeah, I mean, I did bury my mom. And then she just keeps going, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, fun fact, okay.
Like, okay, Jada Smith offering information no one asked for.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, that's hilarious. Another thing that I liked from the book, the fact that, you know, as the world is becoming uglier and gray and 2D, and the beldam's kind of closing it off, the cat had previously mentioned before that there are multiple ways that he can get into the world. It's not just by the door. Mm-hmm. And whenever the house is becoming more gray, the cat in the book, the cat hears or gets a feeling or something, an intuition, that those other openings have now officially been closed. The cat describes it as like, it goes flat.
Yeah.
And for the very first time, the cat is scared. This is like, because every time that the cat's been in the world, kind of like with the high nose, is just walking around like it knows the place. And is there to help Coraline along, you know? Or mostly just judge her the entire time. But for the first time, the cat gets scared whenever it realizes that it is now trapped in there as well, because it's actually scared. It doesn't know how it's going to get out. And that's when Coraline has to kind of reassure the cat, like, oh, like, I will get you out. Don't worry.
Then she uses the cat, and there's a reason.
Yeah, she's like...
Just saying. In both the book and the movie, she chunks that poor cat at the Velvet bed, and then she, like, afterwards, she's like, I'm so sorry. And the cat's like, sure you are.
Oh, the cat was so much more forgiving in the book than in the movie, because I would have been...
The window
I
and
was so pissed off.
the way they animated his face, where like the eyelids would just lower, I was like, that's accurate. I'd be just as mad.
Okay, so here's the big question: was there anything the movie did better?
Yes, the dolls. I would
yes,
argue that the
yeah.
dolls. Because one of the things
100%.
that honestly bothered me about the book, and again, this is a middle grade book. The middle grade books typically don't dive into a lot of background. Like, that's when you get into higher fantasy and stuff, right? But I sat there. There was two big questions. The first one was, where's Wybie? Because I was lost. I wanted to know where he was. And my second one, especially when they brought up how the rats were spies, was, why is Coraline being picked on? Why is Coraline being picked? How does she know all these things? How does she know the neighbors that Coraline's constantly going to visit? I don't understand this. And in the movie, we added this concept of the doll, which at the beginning, she's bringing around everywhere. Like, she makes fun of the doll, and then it's always with her for a long time. of course the doll makes sense to be a spy. Compared to the movie where the Beldam just or the book where the Beldam's just kind of like, you're my victim, and like that was the whole conversation.
Yeah, that was good. I like that they added the doll in there for sure.
Yeah.
And the opening scene of the entire movie of the Beldam making the doll
I love
has
that.
now become iconic.
Yes.
Did y'all see the girl on
And it
TikTok
really-
that talks about how
Yes.
they're like her family's like funeral directors, and she talks about how
Yes,
those were
yes.
actually like embalming tools and stuff.
No.
Oh, that girl is so good. She's so good. I wrote down her name. Hold on, give me 1 second.
I didn't see that
The-
video. That's cool.
It's the same girl that Ashley, was it you, Ashley, that sent us that video of
Yeah.
the father?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same girl. Her name on TikTok is Belle DeVell. And she has now become an expert on all things
Coraline.
theories.
Okay, are you talking about my theory then that I found that I love?
Yeah.
So it says, in the animated film Coraline, the cat was one of the children the Beldam tried to lure, but failed, and the children's spirit escaped and took the form of a cat. And so this is why he seems to understand the nature of the other world in full detail, including its history and the terrible truth behind its facade. He tries to guide other children like Coraline through the Beldam's traps. So this theory just really made me think of the Hocus Pocus cat, and I love it so much. Like,
Oh, wait, that's a good comparison there.
See, but I disagree. I feel like the cat was more of a guide because of the fact that he didn't have buttons, right? And the other children are dead and have buttons. It's never set up like he's so stuck up about being a cat and how cats are better than humans. You cannot convince me it's a kid. Like,
right? So
he thinks he's better than everybody because he's a cat. Like, that is his whole thing. He reminds me of more of a, like, he is a guide, don't get me wrong.
well, what about like a god? So you have the Beldam, who's kind of like a god, like, you know, like she can manipulate the world and do all this stuff here, right? So like,
I feel like the cat's more like a Loki.
see, I was gonna say, like, what's the Greek mythology? I'm so ignorant on this. Who's transporting people?
Oh, on the river Styx?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name is.
It's Charon. Because it's not Chiron, it's Charon.
Okay.
Anyways,
believe
yeah,
you.
like
I
a-
really believe you.
Yeah, you're good.
No, the reason why I say it that way is because there's two Greek characters with that's how they specify who is who. Is like one's Charon, one's Chiron, and Charon, I believe I could be wrong, is the one basically what you said, Katie, like is the one that transports people in the river Styx.
Yeah,
Because
but yeah, just like
remember correctly.
he's not a cat. He's not just a cat. You know.
No. I like the theory though that it probably was another kid that maybe outsmarted the Beldam in some way, shape, or form.
Like, what if he just got one of his eyes taken or something? And
Well, because, yeah, it goes back to like his eyes are not button eyes, right?
Yeah.
So that means his soul is not trapped in that world. It can travel between both. And it knows the worlds well enough to go in and out in different portals, different like entrances. But it didn't let the Beldam sew the button eyes. Maybe it outsmarted it in a different way. Unfortunately, it just became a cat.
Yeah, maybe he's been trapped as a cat for so long, he just has this hoity-toity attitude.
I don't
That
know.
cats have.
I feel like the fact that he's just a cat makes it better, though. Because
No
so many-
sane cat is just gonna help people. That's not black cat energy.
It's not. That
But
is so true.
But I would argue that in the book compared to the movie, in the book, the cat's there just to watch. He doesn't really help Coraline. Like, honestly, he doesn't really help Coraline till the end where he's like, I also need to go. Like, this is not fun for me anymore. But
Right,
in
he's
the
just
movie-
here for
Coraline
a good
White.
time.
Right. I feel like in the book he's an observer, and like, and so he just shows up and Coraline's like, All right, cool. What's going on?
He
But he's connected to YB so much in the movie. I think that makes his character slightly different. That's why he becomes more of a
he
helper.
he helps Coraline once in both the movie and the book towards the end to get the very last soul.
Right. That's the
Um,
only time he helps him.
Only time he helps. And then I think the reason why the cat in the movie is very connected to YB, not necessarily YB, but the grandmother, because the grandmother is the twin of one of the
right?
sisters who became a ghost children. And so I think that cat goes with the next kid that has faced the beldam.
Yeah, he's just
Or
there
the
kind of
remaining-
helping.
Or the remaining, yes, or the remaining like sister, the remaining families, whatever. Just kind of sticks around the Pink Palace, the house, to guard over that door. But
Well, then it
I mean,
makes you
never to
wonder
truly
about-
stop anyone, but just to see who goes in.
Well, yeah, but then it makes you wonder the ending of the movie where he walks into a portal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the cat's the best, man.
The cat's the best one, but because I like the cat so much, that's why I can't like fully support this theory. You can't convince me you can be that snarky and a kid who's gone through that trauma. Like, this really feels like somebody who's like, nah, I'm better because I'm not stupid enough to fall for her tricks. Like, that's how the cat comes across to me
Well,
the entire
hey,
time.
if I managed to escape and 3 other kids before me didn't, I would feel a little, a little superior.
I don't know. But also, it goes back to that quote about the names. He doesn't have a name.
Ooh, right. Maybe,
Ooh.
Isn't there some, like, they've had their name for so long they forgot what their name used to be?
Yes, the children.
But they have memories, and the cat doesn't have either of those. The cat says,
Or the
I'm
cat
a cat.
doesn't want to say.
I don't know.
The cat says it's none of your business what my name is.
The cat said Nunya. My first name's
Literally.
Nunya, my last name's Business.
Literally.
Anyway, does anyone have any other theories that they liked?
I want to bring up the one you sent to us about the dad and the food.
Yeah.
I like that theory.
Mhm.
So the same lady that Stephanie has mentioned had a theory about that the other father has a very weird obsession with food that we do see in the movie. And so in this video, she points out how Coraline has like a normal amount of food on her plate. The dad has an abhorrent amount of food on his plate. Like, it is toppling over, stacked kind of thing. And the other mother never has anything on her plate. The only thing we actually see her eat in the entire movie is beetles.
Yeah.
And the video is talking about how the dad's always mentioning how he's starving and he's hungry as a pumpkin and all these things because the other mother only lets him eat when Coraline's there. And I was like, actually, this makes sense because in the book, it's mentioned a few times too, where the dad talks about how he's starving and how they're not allowed to do anything when the other mother's not around. And I'm like, so they have some enough sentience that they have to eat. Which I
Yeah.
think is interesting.
Also, yeah, interesting that she created them with the ability to feel hunger.
Yes.
How cruel.
And there's references back and forth between what the other mother does and how she eats, but it's never one of those things that's confirmed or denied, because there's a part in the book where the cat also talks about maybe she wants you as a thing, maybe she wants you to eat, who knows?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Well,
never
are
confirmed
we
what she does?
are we on the same page that kind of like she feeds off their souls and that's what
That's what I
brings
would
the
have,
world to
yeah.
life and everything? Okay, yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Especially because the children talk about how that she like ate their life away, and I don't think they mean that literally. If that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like,
yeah.
She didn't physically eat them. But,
Ooh, so are they alive for a while with the button eyes?
I think so.
Ew. See, I imagine once also, this is very morbid to talk, like,
Yeah.
are the eyes plucked out and then the button sewn on?
I just always
imagined
envisioned it on top.
I did too, but she was looking for the eyeballs.
She was.
Oh my
That's
god!
Oh, that's even worse. And then the
Right?
whole other father being like, "You won't feel a thing." How would you not?
Yeah.
How would
yeah.
you not feel that?
Yikes.
Okay, nope. Oop, we diving into the whole creepy side. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
to add to the creepy theory, the same girl on TikTok also talked about that tunnel. If you rewatch the movie, whenever Coraline is running back, like she's trying to get back to the real world after she has fought the Beldam, um, and the tunnel itself, along with the entire rest of the world that was created, also goes gray and very old. And now there's spider webs everywhere because you in the movie you come to find out that the Beldam is a spider-like creature.
Mm-hmm.
In the tunnel, you see pieces of clothing as Coraline is racing back to the real world because the door is getting closer and closer. It is implied that actually it's more than implied, it's shown that those pieces of clothing that are in the tunnel abandoned are actually the clothing that the ghost children are wearing.
Oh.
And it's implied there that they died, that their souls were eaten or whatever we just talked about.
Well, I mean, we know they
the clothes are in the
died,
tunnel.
Yeah, like, so why are they in the tunnel? Once they have button eyes, do you think she just kind of let them roam the world because they couldn't see? And, like, as they were trying to almost escape, she, like, sucked the last bit of life out of them?
Maybe.
Wow.
Because all three kids talk about, in the book and the movie, all three of them say they willingly did it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They willingly let her sew buttons on their eyes. So, maybe.
That's interesting, too. So there must be some free will element on their part that she can't just sew the buttons on her eyes.
Yeah, they have to agree to it. Because
Yeah.
you see that with Coraline, too. Because Coraline says no,
Yeah.
she never forces it. She gets mad about it, but she can't force it.
Yeah.
Also, in one of the in one of the clothes that you see right there, do y'all remember in the film there's a picture, a framed picture of a little boy eating ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay, in the tunnel, the outfit that the little boy is wearing in that picture is in the tunnel.
Oh.
Oh.
So the theory is that that little boy was real. It was a real picture. That little boy made it to the other world. Something happened to that little boy very differently than the three ghost children because his clothes are there, but we don't.
Because he's the cat, Katie. He's the cat.
Yes.
No.
I am doubling down.
No. Because the homeboy had a picture in the real world where his ice cream was on the floor and he was upset. And I remember sitting there the second time watching the movie, right? And thinking, to me it was an improvement from the bowl of fruit that goes from full fruit to eaten fruit in the book. However, that made me remember, though, one of the things that I liked that they did in the movie was bringing in the snow globes so it didn't feel as random.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Because the book, it's important because Coraline is set up to be this character who notices things, and that's how she figures it out, because she's like, our mantle's bare, why is this here? And it makes sense, but I like in the movie that it's the mom snow globes, because if you look at the box, it says mom snow globes on it, that are all set up on the mantle, and it makes sense to add the parents in there with how like the how it's actually the glass sound that like triggers Coraline. Oh my goodness, Coraline into like figuring. I know. I'm sorry. But it's the finger on the glass that like triggers her realizing what's going on. But it also adds again that kind of mysterious element at the end, because the parents come in and they're covered in all that snow. The snow globe's broken and they are unfazed.
Yeah.
They don't remember anything. They don't recognize they're wet. Like, I found that a very interesting concept, but I kind of like how it all came together more in the movie on that one.
I agree.
Yeah, it was interesting. So in the book too, like there's a couple days that go by. Like the first day, when her parents are missing, she like almost doesn't care.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
What she did, she went to the grocery store, she's like got apples and a cake and stuff, like the most random food. I was like, all right.
Like, parents parents are gone for the day.
No, it's funny because my kids, one kid would not care at all if we disappeared for a couple of days, and the other kid immediately would be like, "Oh my gosh, where's my mom and dad?"
See, I remember, this may be a tangent, you can cut it out if you want, but I'll make it short. The short version is my brother got hurt and ended up in a hospital. All right, he's obviously good now. This was many, 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 many years ago. But I came home. My family was not where they were supposed to be in that house because I came home from a practice, so like I was later than normal or whatever. And I remember immediately being on the phone trying to get my mom, like, where are you? Why are you not here? Why is this not normal? Like, I was not the kid who was like, oh, free time. No, I was panicking. It was out of the routine.
So I don't know what your religious background is, but I would have some rapture trauma from that.
Yes. Immediately look for clothes.
Same thing.
Immediately look for clothes. Are there piles of clothes around and I get left?
Yes.
Ashley, the exact same the exact same story I was gonna tell is like being raised in church. You kind of grow up with like you can't find your parents. The rapture.
Yeah, they're gone and I got left behind.
That is, oh my god! If we ever want to do that, that was a book that was turned into a movie. Did you guys ever read the Left Behind series?
Oh,
I never read it.
Yeah.
It messed
Never
me
read
up.
it. I saw the very first movie and it was a little bit boring. I'm not gonna lie, but I've heard so many like.
I remember reading the books, but that like all that did was emphasize that that trauma could happen to me. Like that was probably not the best.
Oh my god. Okay.
I forgot about those books. Sorry. It reminded me. I was like, dang.
Are we ready to move on to the next section, or?
Yeah, the quotes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so from either the book or the movie, were there any quotes that you just absolutely love?
Is it a quote? It is a quote, just not from any of the characters in the book. It's just a quote that is in the book that I actually really liked because I feel like this gives a very well-rounded answer to why it is we read fantasy books and why it is that books are important and beautiful to people. The quote is, "Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten." G.K. Chesterton. I thought it was a beautiful little quote there that I really wanted to add to the episode of just like that. I feel like that's why I read fantasy books. And it's actually an argument that I give whenever people want to be like, why? I would never read a fantasy book because it's not real life. And I'm like, yes, that's true. You know, we're not fighting dragons here in real life. But with all of these books, you get a good sense of good and evil. It shows good and evil, and it shows that like you can beat a dragon. You know, whatever dragons are in your life, you can beat a dragon.
Yeah.
Because even though a lot of fairy tale stories are not true, there are aspects of truth in them that you can take and use in your real life.
Yeah, definitely. There's human themes that can be explored even in a fairy tale that can translate over for sure.
There's a reason that fables are used to pass down knowledge.
Yes, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked a quote, and it's from the cat, obviously. So Coraline's like, "I'm Coraline, okay?" And the cat says, "Cats don't have names." And no, said the cat, now you people have names. That's because you don't know who you are. We know who we are, so we don't need names. Maybe I'm reading.
That made total sense.
Right. Well, I feel like maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seems really profound. Like, y'all humans don't know who you are, so you need to identify yourself with some trivial name, right?
I found that interesting. So I had.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I agree with Ashley. I really do like that quote. I like that little bitty conversation.
So I had 3 from the book and then 1 from the movie that I think is everybody's favorite. But the 3 from the book, the first one is, Coraline wondered why so few adults she had met made any sense. She sometimes wondered who they thought they were talking to. And it cracks me up, and I'm not gonna lie, I was reading this book, and then I was dealing with a situation at work, and that quote immediately popped into my head. Because it feels like that even adult to adult sometimes, you're just like, what's happening here? And I love that aspect of a child understanding what's happening with an adult more than an adult realizes.
Yeah.
The second one, and I think this may have actually came from where they talk about how the buttons on the eyes won't hurt, is Coraline knew that when grown-ups told you something wouldn't hurt, it almost always did.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah. But like that applies to life very well. And then I said the third one earlier about the bravery, but I think the movie quote that gets quoted the most that we all love is "Don't you dare go outside, Coraline Jones." When she's mimicking her mom, it always cracks me up.
I love that in the movie she really does go by Coraline Jones.
Yeah.
I love the full name of it. Because my niece, whenever she saw Coraline for the very first time when she was like 3-4 years old, I'm not gonna lie, she loved the movie, and she would always specify like the Coraline Jones movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Coraline Jones.
It's Coraline
and I
Jones.
love it. I love the full aspect of the full name.
My 8-year-old has done that all the time. He's always like random strangers. He's like, my name is, he gets it backwards, but he's like, my name is Harrison Michael Coleman III. It's just like, yes, sir.
He said it's a full name.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. One
That's
thing,
going to sound so great during graduation.
Right?
oh, he's going to have a cool name. One thing, this is kind of just a side note because we're talking about quotes though, but one of my favorite parts of the movie is they quoted that book, man. Like, there were legitimate quotes straight from the book into the movie.
I love that.
Really enjoyed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were so many, not just quotes, even small little details and scenes that came straight from the book. Like all the dogs with the wings.
Yes!
I thought that was just a movie thing. I highly did not expect that to be part of the book. And also the whole scene where the actresses like become young in like a second.
Do you mean when they unzip their bodies?
Yeah.
Yes. That, I don't think the zipper thing was mentioned, but they do that in the book
They
too.
come out of the big bodies.
Yeah, they come out of the big bodies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how, but they do come out. And I remember being like, is this in the movie? I don't remember this. And then rewatching it, I was like, oh, yep, nope, it's there.
Yes. I mean, just as much as they quoted the book, they put a lot of things in there as well in the movie. So they kept it true.
Yeah. Like down to the tea leaves and the actresses being the one who give her the stone, even though it coming out of the taffy cracks me up. She goes after it with those knitting needles, man.
Yeah.
So much more dramatic than pulling it out of a box. I was like, I'm here for it. This can stay.
I think overall, the movie... Are we at this point where we...
Oh, wait. Well, I want to say one more thing here before we
go
get...
for it.
Okay, so I have a question for y'all.
Okay.
In the real world, do y'all think that Mr. Bobo has an actual mouse circus? Or he's just going crazy up in there?
Oh.
I think he does. I like
You
to
think-
believe that he does.
I think he has mice.
He definitely has mine.
He has an infestation, and to make it cute, they're like, it's a circus.
Yeah, it's a circus in here.
I think that's how he's coping with the fact that he has mice.
Well, okay, isn't that like a thing people say too? It's like, oh, it's a circus in here. Like when you have kids or when your house is a mess or like anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things that it is a quote in the movie too, and like the Coraline in the movie kind of plays with it, is where he's talking about how the mice won't play the music he wants because he wants to oompa oompa, and they're not doing that. They're
Yeah.
like the teetly teetly. I don't know why that cracks me up so much. And I don't know.
Because you don't expect that to be a direct quote from the book. You thought that was the quirkiness of the movie.
Right. And but like in the movie they add in how she like goes and delivers cheese. So I think Ashley's right. He definitely has mice. Now if it's organized.
You know how there's like a crazy cat lady thing?
Yes.
Maybe he's just the crazy mouse guy.
Man. Oh, man.
Oh, and I love how the Beldam refers to the rats as like friends, and then the cat is vermin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that emphasizes her character, too, going back to what you said about good and evil. Like, most of us do not associate rats with good things.
Unless it's Ratatouille.
He's the, he's the only one allowed to he's a good rat.
There's a children's book with the mouse that's holding the sword. Do you have y'all?
Oh! Shoot. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the title, though.
Yeah, Despero.
That's it!
Yeah.
But
like, it's not Desperado. But...
mice are bad. Names 20 different good mice.
No. Mice are good.
Oh, rats are bad.
Rats are bad.
Fair.
And they are not the same thing. They are giant and scary.
All right, so are we ready to give our personal ratings?
I think so.
Steph, you want to go first?
Let me think about it. For me, actually, I don't think there's anything to think about. I would say both the book and the movie, for me, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm going to give it a super high rating. I think there was aspects of both that I loved. I loved the visuals in the movie, which is something you kind of don't really have in the book. You know, all the colors and the music and the ambiance of the whole thing. The entire tone of the movie matched very well with the book. I think this was a great adaptation of the book itself, especially like we just said seconds ago. They used direct quotes. They used direct scenes and moments and pulled it through and put it in the movie. Very well done. As the book adaptation, I thought it was great. And coming from the angle of, we have seen this movie many times before. We even knew it was a book, so we just read the book recently for this episode. I'm glad to see it was a very well done adaptation of the book, and both stand alone great on their own. There's scenes in the book that I wish were in the movie, but because they're not, if you want to read about it in detail, go read the book. I think it's like a little piece of gold in a treasure, where it's like, you want this, go read the book. You want this, go watch the movie. And they can both stand on their own. I think they're great. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
Katie, what about you?
Oh, okay. I'll go next. I agree with Stephanie on this one. I'm going to give them both 5 out of 5. But I think, honestly, there's 2 reasons for this. The first one is nostalgia. Like, there's this element of nostalgia of how many times I've watched the movie. Like, I love it for what it is, because it's always been independent for me. The other part of it is that I see myself reading this book repeatedly around this time every year with future kids and watching the movie with future kids. And if I feel that way about a book, like, that's a 5 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Yeah, if you're going to reread it.
Yeah, if it's something that I can see myself constantly rereading or constantly rewatching, that's a 5 out of 5 for me. So that's my reason behind it. But Ashley, what is your view on it?
I'm going to give the book a 4 out of 5, mainly because it's a middle grade book that's not targeted for me per se. So, okay. I mean, like, I read it and it was good, but it wasn't like, oh, wow. And then the movie I'll give like a 4.5 out of 5. Because I'm a Grinch. Because I'm a black cat. It was good. It was a great adaptation. I think probably, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the movie more than the book, right? Which doesn't happen very often. So it was good, but not.
I didn't expect us to choose a movie over
so soon. Yeah.
I really think part of it is because, like, Coraline is kind of a part of Halloween at this point. Like, it's something that multiple people watch. Like, it's not like a one-time movie kind of thing. So, like, it already kind of has itself, the movie of it, we all love already, and that is going to naturally have us lean that way.
Yeah, I think when it's it has such a wide fan base, and it's something that can be a shared experience. So it gives like a community, everybody can enjoy it, fun time. So.
Well, and I think y'all would agree with me when you were reading the book, there were questions you had because of the movie, like, where is this character? Why is this happening? Where's the garden scene? Like, because we had known the movie first. The book was being compared to the movie versus the movie being compared to the book.
Ooh, interesting. I wonder if that's why I'm rating the movie like a half a step higher than the book.
I think it could be.
Ooh. Also, I just feel like it's because it's a middle grade book. It just didn't like. It's not my target. I'm not the target audience, you know. So you know what I mean.
Get that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One thing I love about the movie is that you can watch this movie over and over and over again, and still something new might pop out a little bit later. Because, like, as we have now experienced throughout this whole episode, we have figured out new things today that we didn't even think about or know or anything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun to talk about the theories and the lore and everything behind it. So
yes, there's so many theories into this story, both book and movie. Man, you could, which is why this girl on TikTok really has deep dived into all the theories, because everything that they did in the movie was for a reason.
Yeah, it was intentional. So it's stop animation, so everything is really thought about. Like, nothing is by accident, you know? Mm-hmm. I would love to see a Coraline 2, or, you know, like a sequel, but like an adult book that kind of goes deeper into everything. You know, because like she's not...
Found it?
Yeah, like maybe... well, no, like just an adult book. So like maybe we center more on, did the Beldam stay in that world now that she didn't have her little ghost eyes, or does she go somewhere else to terrorize a different location, you know?
You know what, Ashley, I say you write it.
I don't think Neil would appreciate that. And I couldn't do it as good as him anyway, so.
Alright, so that is it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to us talk about Coraline. I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about it as much as we enjoyed actually doing this podcast today. And next time, we hope that you join us for A School of Good and Evil by Soman Chinani. It is a book, middle grade book, and it has also been adapted into a film on Netflix if you would like to watch it before we talk about it. But in the meantime, you guys can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pause the Page. And we will see you guys next time.